Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Glad that the doors are open. I hope that this panel session and this session of this afternoon will give you a little bit more oxygen than there is in the room at the moment. Maybe the temperature will rising, but that's then for the good. My name is Hans de Kank. I am co-director of FARI, AI for the Common Good Institute, Joint University Institute in Brussels, and we are part of both an EDIH as well as a TEF. So that's why I'm gladly taking on the challenge to moderate you through this session. And without further ado, what we want to do today is first start off with a set of presentations to set the scene and then have an interesting panel discussion. There are over 200 EDIHs and there are also a lot of TEFs, but I had to pick a few. But nevertheless, it's a full program and let's get started. And I'm very happy to announce the following speakers to the stage. First of all, Ms. Lucila Scioli, Director, Artificial Intelligence and Digital Industry from the European Commission. And after that, the presentation will be followed by Maurits Butter from TNO. And then we have Ms. Kirke Maar. She's project lead of the AIR EDIH in Estonia. Very welcome, and let's get started. That will be helpful. The timing is there. It will start.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and good afternoon. I'm Lucy Scioli. I'm Director for AI and Digital Industry. And I would like to introduce this session by telling you why Europe invests in elements or organizations like the digital innovation hubs and the testing and experimentation facilities. So these are part of an infrastructure that the European Union funds through the Digital Europe program, which in our opinion is essential to enable our capacity to innovate and therefore bring research faster from the research labs to the industrial needs, and then also make sure that this innovation is adopted, in particular by the small medium enterprises, which are always, let's say, a little bit delayed relative to bigger companies in uptaking digital technologies. And if we look at digital innovation hubs, and as it was said earlier, there is some digital innovation hubs present today, we have tried to work with the member states to really identify hubs across the European territory at the regional level, at the more local level, specialized in different areas of interest for our economic sector, and also trying to bring through a network in the European Union different competencies and different specializations. And the reason why we need this is because obviously it is very difficult from Brussels to be able to reach out to small, medium enterprises or startups or public and small public administration. So through the network of digital innovation hubs, which is now also managed by a platform that is called Digital Maturity and the Digital Maturity Tool, it is possible now to really bring everybody in a network, and each hub has, of course, the task to reach out to their local ecosystem. The novelty of these hubs, they are funded 50% by the European Commission and 50% by the member states. This has brought some challenges because of the combination of different kinds of funding, but I really hope that we are now overcoming these challenges and all the hubs will soon be ready to start working. Some have already started working. We're talking about more than 100 digital innovation hubs across the European territory, and many of them received the so-called Seal of Excellence, which has also facilitated national funding. we now have to demonstrate this excellence, in particular as we are looking to the future and we are looking into continued funding of these hubs. We will soon have the challenge to show the impact of the hubs and the number of companies that have been able to help and also administrations. And I really urge all the hubs to really go out of their the ecosystem they already know, to try to reach out to new sectors and to new customers and new clients compared to what they're already doing now. It's very important because the hubs and the choice of the hubs was really designed to cover all the economic sectors, and so we have to be able, through the hubs, to bring support in the variety of sectors. This is going to be really important now, because with the technological shifts that are taking place, I take artificial intelligence as an example, there will be an increasing demand, in particular by small, medium enterprises, but also by the public administration, to understand how to implement this technology in their business. So there are many hubs in the network that are specialized in AI, and I expect that these hubs will be really key to help SMEs to update these technologies and also follow the developments in this technology as more and more language models and similar are being developed also in the European Union. So these are discussions that will be upcoming and certainly the next step in the conversation we're having with the hubs. And in fact, when it comes to artificial intelligence, we have also taken steps to organize, to set up organizations, again, that help bringing innovation to the market by providing facilities that are meant to help the testing and experimentation by innovators, in particular startups and SMEs, before they bring the innovation to the market, setting in conditions that are very similar to the real world. And we've done that in 4 main economic sectors, which relate to healthcare, to manufacturing, to agro-food, but also for smart cities, given the important focus the European Commission has on green and our green policies. So we are working with these organizations who will soon start providing their services to the innovators to really facilitate, especially, as I said, also taking into account the technology shift that we are observing now. And for the TEF, we have spent 220 million euros of co-investment with the member states. Also here, same challenges as for the digital innovation hubs in terms of synergies between different funding programs. We are reaching now 16 member states. That doesn't mean that only the companies in those 16 member states can actually be served by the TEF, but companies from all the European member states can actually receive services from the TEF. The TEF are for us a common resource. And also here we are now looking into the future. Will we continue this experience? We will have to prove that it has been useful, that companies have been helped. And so this is a discussion that will start very soon as we prepare for the future work program, but also for the next commission which start working at the end of the year. And it will be very important for us and for my colleagues that you know very well to be able to bring new ideas to the new commission and to also recommend continuation of certain activities when they are successful. This is my last slide. This is just to indicate you that for us in the European Commission, it's been important to be able to fund from the level of research to the level of innovation that goes quicker to the market, and then facilitating the uptake, in particular by SMEs and the public administration through the hubs. So this is a one journey, if you want, that we are putting in place. We are now looking at the next stage. I already talked about the impact of generative AI that could have for the work on the hubs. I would say something similar, of course, for the testing and experimentation facilities. So thanks a lot. I will come back next year and I will tell you how it's been going for these organizations and see whether we can also help in bringing European models and European work into the European companies in the Union. Thank you very much.
Maurits?
Good. Let's see if this works. This one. Yeah, so my name is Maurits Butter. I work for TNO, and I've been working for quite some time in the field of digital innovation hubs, European digital innovation hubs, and also in very many European networks, so the Innovation Actions and CSAs. And what I learned was that research and technology organizations are a very important element in those digital innovation hubs and European digital innovation hubs. And what I would like to show today with you is my perspective on how those RTOs can look at the European Digital Innovation Hub and TEFs and how they see value coming from those animals, I would say. So I will talk a little bit about that perspective, but I also will introduce to you European innovation corridors, interregional innovation corridors, because what I think is that European collaboration is crucial and it's more than just an ad hoc project. So those European digital innovation hubs, these are the digital innovation hubs. I don't know if anyone remembers this symbol. It was coined in 2016 as the idea of an amoeba, a network of digital innovation hubs, whereas a multi-actor partnership is going on with the aim of strengthening the region, strengthening the innovation relay game. And you can see here that the value of those digital innovation hubs is very much with regard to innovation, trying to connect all the organizations that are involved in developing advanced digital technologies and trying to already take it to the innovator SMEs. So if you take this as an example, now there's the European Digital Innovation Hub, and I've taken the liberty to just put a different color to it to highlight that they are eddies. What you see there is that they're connected to all other digital innovation hubs. And they are also very much looking at the European function. So it's not only about strengthening the region, still there, very important, but in my view, they also need to connect to Europe and connect to other eddies. What is interesting here is that you can see the CC, the competence centers. That was original, one of the foundations, one of the pillars of the digital innovation hubs. Usually it was an RTO. So that's where the RTO mechanism and the RTO perspective comes in. They are there, they provide technological expertise, infrastructures, but they embed that in the region, in the more regional focused digital innovation hub and the more European focused European digital innovation hubs. So then, looking at the testing and experimentation facilities. Those are also a little bit of a different animal. And I would say that it's much more connected to the competence centers because it's highly focused on technology infrastructures, expertise, the expertise to help SMEs with their journey to take up digital transformation kind of technologies. So for me, looking at the TEFs, it's very much about helping SMEs and startups to take on the advanced digital technologies. But also looking back at the eddies, those are more focused on the early adopters and early innovators, where these are very much also focused on the whole spectrum. And I would say the late majority even should be able to make use of the infrastructures and expertise that are offered by the by the TEFs at the regional level. But there's also a European function there. I think with the TEFs, the European function is as important. And that goes very much towards the value of making available all those capacities and capabilities, infrastructures that are out there in EU 27 and associated countries, and make them available for the region. Highly focused on infrastructures, but still it is very important to be able to make the connection. And now 16 countries are already making use of that network of expertise, but I would say in the future it will be 27 plus. That I think is the aim. But the European function is also, I think, very much about reducing the overlap. Those technology infrastructures are very costly, very capital intensive. And if you make sure that the TEFs are having a kind of a coordination body to say, okay, if you already have these capacities available in that region, perhaps it should be better that you focus on the further development of those kind of technologies. If you can have that mechanism within the TEFs, then there will be more impact from public expenditures and also private expenditures. So that's a very important view I have with those TEFs. Now looking at the value for RTOs. I take TNO, but perhaps it's all the RTOs in Europe. That's why the EATO symbol is there. It's the association of RTOs. So looking at the regional perspective, I think it's very much about lowering costs. Lowering costs of RTOs to get to the customers. I can tell you from experience that it is very hard to get connected to a customer. But perhaps an example is Flanders Make. Belgian EDI, RTO, European Digital Innovation Hub. I don't know if Flanders Make is a European Digital Innovation Hub. I think it's a Digital Innovation Hub. They've got collaborators, partners in the game, and they act as ambassadors for other partners in Europe to connect to that region. So that's very interesting, an interesting element. For the European level, I think for an RTO it's also very difficult to connect to the entire SME community. So there, the TEFs and the EDIs, all those kind of animals can help to reduce the cost and to get better connected. So that's very much also overlapping with the TEFs, but the TEFs are focused on the technology infrastructures. And there the technology infrastructures have added value to connect to align investments, etc., etc. But it is all about Project Europe. And the European focus has been very important to me in all the projects that I've done. I've got all those projects that I've been involved in. And looking at Project Europe, it is about making use of European infrastructures. It is about connecting the efforts together, because we as individual member states cannot do it alone. If we want to achieve the global leadership, that is important to collaborate. And for me, the corridors, which are coined and researched by the Bowie project, were very important. It's the structural collaboration between two regions. What we often saw in this project, that specific project, was that ad hoc projects take a lot of investments to create, and then if you have another one, you need to go through the cycle again and again. Why not create a structural corridor in which the collaboration between two regions through the EDIs can be much easier? The barriers is lowered. So this is just an example of what we research, and there you can see that the structural collaboration is organized through peer learning visit to have SMEs coming to one another on a periodic level. They've developed business plan for this, and I'm looking now at the digital hub logistics in Dortmund, as well as Technicom in Slovenia. So some lessons. I can tell you that European collaboration, it's not easy. It's very complex and very difficult. And it's not obvious that it has value, the European collaboration. That needs to be much more articulated, why there is added value for this collaboration. So this is a crucial thing to further address, I would say, in the EDIs, and also looking at ourselves, trying to articulate what is so important. And my final slide is about the RTOs. So why is it so important for RTOs, these EDIs and these tests, and that European collaboration? We are looking at European collaboration, and it's very costly for us. And if we can make use of each other's efforts and each other's networks, the costs will be reduced. And that's a very important thing to strive for. But in the end, it is, for an RTO, also very much about the funding. Because we want to do, as RTOs, interesting, cutting-edge innovations, so not only research, but also getting it into use. And we need money for that, and especially looking at European collaboration. That also requires funding for us. So that's my message.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Kirkemar, and I'm representing AI and Robotics Estonia. It's EDIH in Estonia, the only one. So Estonia is a small country of 1.3 million inhabitants, and we have only one EDIH focusing on AI and robotics. Before I start making my very quick presentation, may I ask how many EDIH hubs do we have here? I'd love to meet you here after. Thank you. So what I do now is I've been asked to present three things here. Shortly about our hub, how we are doing, who we are, then about how the collaboration with our government works. We have national funding, and how we cooperate according to state strategy. And thirdly, very quickly about the lessons learned, what has been easy, maybe what has been a little bit difficult. So we were the first hub to start in July 22. That means that we are halfway through the first financing period, three years. We are preparing our midterm report, and we will be the first hub to face the review in a month. Very good news. Our services are based on the EDIH program and expectations. Around half of our budget goes to awareness raising, skills and training, and company-based consultations. And around another half, we're trying to do, we call them test before invest demo projects, to actually solve challenges in companies in very high TRL levels that we call demo projects there. And these are type of proof of concept testings, validation, testing robots, algorithms, different novel technologies actually based on companies' use cases. So far, we were in a very good position to start in July 22 because the consortium was selected 2 years earlier in 2020, and we had very good collaboration with the government, so we were also funded from the national sources before to prepare. And before we started, we already knew our client quite well. So that's very important for EDIHs to know your client and to map their needs because this is who you serve with our technologies and research results. And so by today, we have around 170 clients already served in our EDIH services. What's going very well, and there's a great demand, maybe also because of COVID, is everything that is face-to-face. We are organizing monthly IRA clubs, which has become a brand in Estonia. We're known for it. And we have around 1,300 participants already from these clubs. These are events. We talk about AI, talk about the risks of AI, use cases, and mostly very short presentations about companies' experiences to encourage investments. And what works well for us is that actually we talk quite little. The companies themselves come to talk what's working and what's not. Trainings also, we've organizing intensive trainings for AI and robotics. We organize webinars. And webinars with other EDIs is something is very much in our agenda this year. We organized the first cross-border service with the Shift Labs EDIH in 2 weeks ago, involving Volvo and Ericsson use cases in applying AI. And this was quite a success for us. We had almost 200 participants from more than 10 countries looking at our webinars. So webinars is something we plan to do with other EDIHs this year. We mainly work with universities and science parks offering the services from the budget. So we're very close to research. We are legally part of Tallinn University of Technology. We're a unit inside TalTech. And that has really given us an experience what knowledge transfer means in practice. We work a lot with changing mindsets of actually validating and close near-market activities. Researchers are more used to long-term research projects and not so much with flexible and agile, quick technology transfer and knowledge transfer projects like EDIH is expecting. We also have a very wide network of collaboration partners. We have 8 associated partners who offer our services, our clients their services from their own budgets. The biggest partner is Enterprise Estonia, who also has measures for investments to buy equipment, robotics, and so on. And with them, we have everyday collaboration also because the EDIH budget is limited for investments. What I wanted to say about the collaboration with the government is that we have a sectoral focus. We focus on manufacturing and production so far. We are moving to health technology this year. And Estonia is very known for being one of the top countries in e-government services, access to e-health data, also private sector digitalization, banking. We never saw the bank checks. We went through the new technologies in 2000s. But we are still below average what concerns adapting AI for private sector, except banking. And we are about the average in digitalization level, minimum digitalization level for SMEs. So that's why our government decided to focus on manufacturing. And I think it's a very good decision to have a sectoral approach, step by step, because you know your client. AI is not something we do horizontally without knowing the client. It is about knowing the client and the business processes that it helps. I have to be quicker, I understand. So I go a little further with our Estonian strategy. We are very much linked with 3 pillars of the Estonian innovation, research, development, innovation, and entrepreneurship strategy. These pillars are research, knowledge transfer, and investments to business environment. And I have to say the knowledge transfer pillar is the newest in people's mind. We are used to research, basic and applied research. We're used to business environment projects, but as the Digital Europe program next to Horizon, also in Estonia, universities are still getting used to the knowledge transfer, entrepreneurship activities inside university. And that's something we work every day to provide the services. So to conclude it up with the lessons learned, there are two options in collaborations, like in sales, whether you offer a very good product or whether you design your product according to the client's needs. Well, usually it's something in between, but we started our project clearly by mapping our client's needs. That means that we're in every phase, we're visiting factories, our clients. We then, every client, we provide a tailored solution or an offer from the university. And in my opinion, this works quite well because there is still a gap, what's existing from the research and what the client needs. So we're starting from the demand-based collaboration point of view and then map what's also not available in the market. We're not offering things that are available in the market. We are only focusing on the tailor-made solutions and help from the universities. But it all starts from the point of view of clients' needs. So what we've noticed is that only 5% of our clients have so far experience with AI. That means that a lot of clients, I would say 30 to 40%, are still like in the middle of the digitalization road. They do have their ERP systems in manufacturing, but not really experience of applying AI. And around 20%, I would say, are top-level AI adapters. So there is still a lot to be done in this basic and average level of digitalization. But we do involve all the clients to webinars and seminars, but we have a selection what concerns to use cases and going into the AI pilots. And just to wrap it up very quickly, I wanted to say that what is most important for our clients is that we don't talk a lot about AI as technology itself, but we talk mainly about the impact. We go into the business processes, we look at the challenges, we go into the so-called narrow AI use cases, and from there we design services from our EDIH. And to finalize it is that I am very optimistic of the EDI's cross-border collaboration. The budgetary rules at the moment doesn't really favor it, but we're starting with webinars and just meeting up with about 10 to 15 EDIHs. And our first client has now been forwarded to another EDI services. So that's a very good milestone for us. And what else? We're also looking about scalable solutions. That's important, that when we map research results and we test them in companies, that in parallel we look at the solutions that could be scalable that are not existing in the market. So I think these are the main lessons learned from the first 18 months with 117 clients. And thank you for your attention.
So I kindly ask now, after this setting the scene, I'm going to immediately ask the panel to come to the stage. You know the order of positioning. So we have number 3. Martin, you're number 2. I will sit in the middle. So I have with me today Ludwig de Lucht, from the coordinator of the EDIH Sustain Brussels. I have Martin Brinskov, coordinator of the TEF Sitcom.ai. I have Lisa and Gina from Factory Exchange. I have with me also Raffaele Segafredo from the TEF Agri-Food, and last but not least, Ms. Valentina Ivanova from AI Matters. Thank you very much for being here, but I will let you yourself introduce shortly your organization, your TEF or EDIH, to the broader audience before we go into the discussion and the questions that I have prepared for you.
Thanks, Hans. So we're Sustain.Brussels. We are the European Digital Innovation Hub in Brussels. We are fully funded, 50% by Europe and 50% by the region, to the Innovation Support Center in Oviris in Brussels. And we focus to serve as a single point of access to digital and sustainable innovation. And why is that? You have quite a vivid ecosystem in digital in Brussels. You have quite a vivid ecosystem in sustainable in Brussels, but they are not so friendly looking towards each other. The sustainable, they directly think of e-waste, energy hungry, job losses to automation. A lot of digital actors, they think of a burden of applying all those rules, and they have to, but let it be global rules such that they don't lose competition. And we positioned ourselves in the middle to try to join those two ecosystems, because we strongly believe that if a company wants to be sustainable, not only about green and social, but also sustainable on an economic viewpoint, they have to think of both. And they have to take both into their strategy. We're from CIRIS, which is a collective innovation center, Agoria, which is a sector federation. We have also for research, also universities, ULB and VOB, both universities, and B Central, which takes care of the support to find investments. And what do? Well, we work together with this nice ecosystem in Brussels and abroad, of course, with the European network. We have a lot of European connections, but as a single point of access, we offer the services in those 4 pillars you already know that every EDI has by now, but we also work together to jointly support services or to refer them to actors in this nice ecosystem, such that we really act as a single point of access for digital sustainable innovation in the region.
Thank you so much. My name is Martin Brunskov. I come from the Technical University in Denmark, and I coordinate many good colleagues, the Sitcom AI TEF, which, by the way, is for, let's see, how many of you live somewhere? Oh, then it's for you. So these are sectorial TEFs, but there are concerns which cut across. You mentioned, Lucy, the Green Deal, but also all other kinds of sustainability, so people, economy, and so on. So what are the implications of the paradigm shift we're in? So there was a lot of virtualization happening in the last, well, half century. Now all of that is coming down to the ground in terms of, well, the green perspective, but certainly also for the economies and for people. We have 3 focus areas in the TEF. We cover 11 countries. In the present place we're in, so the Central European part led by our colleagues from IMEC, there's a focus on mobility. In the south, it's the colleagues from Valencia, Ernesto is somewhere here, leading the charge there. And in the north, the colleagues are focusing on power and energy. And this is the status going into, as you said, the Open for Business session, 4th of March in Berlin. And as you also pointed out, Moritz, these are interesting animals. And I think they have characteristics like animals. We have customers in these sites. We have the whole ecosystem set up with the corresponding data spaces and so on. So the first thing to find out is what is a TEF? What is the purpose? And yes, we know the policies, but actually it's quite simple. It's to improve the investment pipeline so that the investments as soon as possible benefit those who live somewhere. And that's not the easiest thing. You mentioned the cost of acquisition of customers. Well, there's more than 80,000 municipalities and regions in Europe, and the cost of acquisition to have them as customers is probably the highest that you can find in any segment. So how do we then make that as simple as possible while actually having a feedback loop also to the policy side, so that we are not just inventing policies and see if they work or not having policies and then just crash testing AI and robotics live, which is not in line with European values. So the TEFs, all of them, are here to help so that we de-risk the investments, which is also what we heard before. So thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much. That was really great. I'm following some great speakers. So I just want to talk to you today a little bit about one major initiative that I look after in Ireland. It's Ireland's manufacturing European Digital Innovation Hub. And why I haven't really spoken much about, let's say, all of the partnerships and connections and sponsors involved in what we do in our RTO at Irish Manufacturing Research in Ireland is because we are getting down to real business here. We're talking about operations. We're talking about establishing a business between, in our case, six partners across Ireland, some of the best research performing organizations, technology organizations, and some startups as well in our consortium from the public and the private sector. So everyone is dealing with these very different operational constraints, and we're coming together to provide a shared service offering. We are supporting those service providers for the very first time. We have professors and we have people within companies thinking, okay, I need to align here on a joint service process across outside of my organization. Let's do this. And then we have our cohort that we're supporting, our service users, and we're looking at them on a daily basis. So in Irish Manufacturing Research, we were established in 2014, a small team of people in a very rural location in Ireland, and we've grown to about nearly 100 employees in that time. So we are, 1/3 of our income comes from the state in Ireland, and 1/3 comes from the industry partners. So they really are investing in us. They believe in us. They've helped us grow. And then 1/3 comes from competitive sources. So we're out there, seeking funding, seeking those collaborations. And why that's important, in those 10 years since our formation, we've learned a lot. We know what our customer needs. They need it quicker. They need it immediately as they face a challenge, cyber attack, something really to keep them in business so they don't close. They need to be prepared for the things that they can't see coming. And really what we found is that fast, flexible service offering, removing the financial and operational barriers. So I don't know how many of you have had to apply for a grant. That's a pretty big barrier to most of our clients. So we don't want to do that. We want to bring a factory exchange, I guess, to the whole, we hope soon, the whole island of Ireland. You'll notice there's a few counties up there in the north missing for some reason. And you can see we serve all three regions. You can see some of the people that I represent back home, some of the best, I would say, in the business, really moving forward in trust as we deal with the operational issues of the grant management and those aspects. But together, we've seen some great success. We've opened our platform, factoryexchange.ie, in October. And since then, we have 56 unique clients. We've delivered 106 services to the value of over 900,000 euro. So we have people who really are moving quite quick. We think we have a nice little formula, and I'm also very keen to meet the other EDIHs. I've been following you. It's amazing. And to talk about how we've gotten over the various hurdles and how our clients are benefiting. So I'd just like to thank you all for having me here today. Thank you, Hans.
All right. The clicker is what I need. The microphone you can
I need the mic.
There you go.
Thank you.
Raffaele.
Thank you. Right, so I'm Raffaele Giaffreda from Fondazione Bro Kessler, Italy, and I'm here to represent one of these rare beasts that I've been talking about even in other sessions. So this is the agri-food theft. So we are sitting in between those guys up in the right that take the best out of their ideas and experiment them in a lab. And these guys that are represented by the farmer, bottom left of the picture, which are the ones that are meant to adopt those solutions and adopt them not because the Commission says it's good to do so, but because indeed it's a good value to their business. So this is where we are bringing innovation from the clouds of the geeks world down to the earth of the farmer's land. It's a consortium that is represented in 9 different countries, and it's more than 30 partners. You see their logos there, and this is our mission. So just in a nutshell, to bring about some of the problems that companies face when producing products that have to go in the fields. The major problem is the fact that we are dealing with live systems, so we are dealing with seasonal implications. So whenever you're running some experiment, what you do one season, you might only repeat it the next season. And as such, then you are face a lot of risks and a lot of improvements that you have to do in order to be efficient, in order to have the right skills and set and facilities that help you to validate your solution, despite the fact that you can only test them once in a while. So this is where just a little bit of a collection of experimentation facilities and services that we are working on. We work a lot with the benchmarking of robotics applications in the agricultural domain, as well as the perception of systems that are able to support those robotics applications, as well as producing data sets with our experimentation that hopefully will feed the best algorithms to improve and provide better and better support that will indeed help the innovation, the technologies that we see in our labs come indeed to the adoption stage where it will deliver value to the farmers. Thank you very much for having me, and next to you.
So, I'm Valentina Ivanova. I'm the coordinating AI Matters. This is AI TEF for manufacturing sector. And I'm coordinating this very complex project together with my colleague who is here, David Servat, because as you can imagine, it's very, very complicated, but very challenging task. And we are working very hard on this. I wanted to remove the animation, but however, we have to do it. We are spread in 8 countries, and it's in Spain. You see the members of our consortium. CA list is the coordinator. And after that, we have in Germany 1 node. We have in the Netherlands, in Czech Republic, in Italy, in Italy, and in Greece. We are 25 beneficiaries in our consortium, and all of them, we are working in different sectors. So our aim is to bring the latest development of AI in manufacturing sector for European SMEs, in this way to strengthen European manufacturing industry. As you see, the manufacturing sector is very, very vast. It's not only, it covers agri-food, it covers the healthcare, everywhere. So, but our catalog of services is covering the studying how to offer our services to the customers. After that, we are on manufacturing, on the factory level optimization, on human-robot collaborations, on circular economy. So we have already a service catalog which is published on our website, and this service catalog is evolving continuously. How the test is not a single European project. It's something in parallel. We have the European infrastructure, which is settled between all these organizations, and a normal European project. So you see how the challenging task is working. And here is our vision, how all these European initiatives are articulated. I put XTEF because all of these 4 TEFs, we are collaborating together. We are facing similar challenges, and we are looking and exchanging our lessons learned. So that's why the next meeting in Berlin will bring together, and we need to meet our consortia to discuss together, because that's the big opportunity that we exchange. It's a very, very difficult. We also, in the manufacturing sector, we also collaborate with the EDIs in manufacturing sector. There is almost all our partners are participating in one digital innovation hub, which is also a very big opportunity for us to participate. So I think here we are all too open to discuss and to answer to your questions.
Okay, thank you, Valentina. And I would like immediately to jump in and maybe start off with asking the panel some concrete examples of success, although very young. Both TEF and EDIH is, of course, oriented towards offering services mainly to companies, SMEs, but also larger companies, but also public administrations and public sector where possible. But starting maybe with the EDIHs here around the table, Ludwig and Lisanne. First, because you, of course, in both EDIHs already are running the services for some time now. We will jump into the TEF, open for business only as from March, but maybe starting with the EDIHs. Ludwig, a success story or the services that you have seen now after 1 year of operations, what has been the most successful or the most requested service so far?
Yeah, except from the many requests that we get, what opportunity GenAI might be in their company, we don't get a lot of requests directly for requesting a technology. A lot of companies, they have ambitions. A lot of them have problems. And if you start discussing with them, digital technology is often a solution to it, to support that problem. But then, of course, they come to the position, how are we going to tackle this project? And setting out this roadmap that might be from what tests they have to do, small tests, or what research project that they have to start up. Setting up this roadmap is one of the most successful services that we have now.
Okay. Dan?
For us, if we look at the 106 services that have been delivered since October, the rapid digital prototype development service is the most popular.
All right.
It's not, I don't think, because that's what everybody wants. It's because that service provider is the best salesperson. Mm-hmm. And they have a very expensive offering, which they're trying to channel customers, potential clients to. So it really helps them build trust, get the customer to get to know the service provider, see the potential in having access to the facility and the people. And then it's basically funding, as Maura said, that early business development engagement. It's really working for our RPOs, our RTOs, and those service providers. So their BD is getting, their business development is getting funded. So the rapid digital prototype development. Second is the funding innovation service. So how does a company fund its innovation? They don't have R&D departments. Mm-hmm. They're barely keeping it together with the operations. So how do they fund their innovation? How do they get time for that? How can they bring in a specialist at a key moment just to secure their place in a bid That's the second one. Yeah,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving over to the services as developed in the service portfolio in the TEFs. Of course, not open for business yet, but building a service portfolio, it requires already, as Martin has said, some iterations. You have done your market research and so forth. What was maybe a surprise to you guys? What actually popped up as the most requested or most anticipated service form? Can I start with
Sure.
you, Martin?
Actually, just to clarify, we are open for business, and we have
Okay.
been for some time, but the formal all TEFs open for business launch will be in March. Just to say, you can come up and we can help you. The biggest surprise is, of course, how timely the TEFs were. I mean, if they hadn't been thought out by someone and put out there, we would have to do it, because what's the alternative? That's to crash test things live where people live, and we don't want to do that. So that was incredible good foresight. Second is how the communities are already working together. So it's not like, putting all these things together. They are there. Then we can talk about what's maybe more challenging. On the service side, well, it's actually very simple things that you just cannot get anywhere else. So now there's a new EDIC for local digital twins coming up. We have Apple just launching the Vision Pro. Okay, so we know how the content delivery network works for Netflix and so on, right? And for the mobile system, that you have nodes where your data is. Okay. What do you think when this data is, 3D, live, and interactive? It will require more bandwidth. So that's one thing we need to infrastructure. And one of our clients happens to be a fairly small company based in Denmark, but selling to all these content delivery network suppliers, the telecom operators and so on, and municipalities, who now need one of these small, not the huge, the small edge data centers on the side. And that suddenly also becomes a mobility hub, because it's uses energy at some point. So you need to load balance and so on. And that brings us to a bigger level, where actually one of the biggest issues, now it gets a little bit nerdy, in the grid is that there's power enough if we just used it without peaks. So balancing all of that stuff, I mean, here in the Eindhoven area, the biggest problem if you open up a new business site is you cannot get power. Because there is no one who can guarantee that you will have power all the time, which is kind of essential, at least during daytime or production time or whatever it is. So balancing all these things out, there are already also small providers out there who do excellent things. But convincing the buyers that this will work on a larger scale, you cannot get anywhere. Well, you can get it through the TEFs. So that's very encouraging, and it's something that Europe does very well.
All right, thanks. Specifically towards agricultural industry, developing these services for the TEF, what popped out in the preparation to open the service catalog?
Yeah, so I think the biggest surprise for me was realizing that there is indeed a lot of demand. So I was a bit skeptical when we started this whole process, and having turned the first turn point after 1 year of execution, I'm quite surprised to see how many services are in our catalog, as well as how much demand there is for each one of them. And indeed, seeing that very little knowledge from the partners and the research community could indeed help a lot the SMEs out there that are much more focused on getting the product out in the market. Because this is their time that we are talking about, and they need to just dish out the product and deliver products as quickly as possible, without paying too much attention on the things that are behind making sure that the product becomes more future-proof, become more sustainable and more scalable in the future. So our engagement with some of these companies, especially on the AI front, has been really to find out the best ways in which even a software architecture could be better organized in order to ensure better repeated checking that things are working very well as expected, as well as just getting the plan ahead for delivering products that are of similar nature, leveraging on the same kind of background knowledge of this SME, but getting them to do it faster, which is a big asset in these type of companies. We don't have too many yet big companies working with us, and we see there that, between SMEs and the large companies, there's kind of fun of difference of requirements. So the small, medium enterprise will ask you different types of services that you need to be a little bit more adaptive to address their needs. And we expect the bigger companies to put specific challenges that we are hopefully in a position to solve them.
Okay, thanks. Valentina, AI and manufacturing, it's a different beast than agriculture, of course, but also there in the service catalog, what's, let's say, the top number one service that you anticipate the most impact and response for?
You know, that's what we are anticipating, what we are seeing throughout our bilateral cooperation with big industrial groups. It's not a secret that RTOs know very well how to work with big industrial groups, and it's challenging to work with SMEs. So even that's why, you know, to make a simple invoice, which could be simple for a product producer, but for RTO it's challenging because there are some regulations which we have to respect. And that's why we are a little bit late, so although we are ready to deliver services, but the invoicing appeared. So what I can say when we looking on a service catalog, it's mainly human-robot interaction. You know, it's we have regulation for health, I think, but somehow human-robot interaction appears very often. We also have a lot on a digital twin. It's important. It's for increasing the productivity, and so it's and you know, circular economy. Even we are thinking about how to help a mid-cap, which it's a French one, but it's very ambitious to decrease. I will not tell in which sector, but it's very water consuming. So they are put their challenge that on 2030 they want to decrease at 50% the water consumption. And we want to help them. So, you know, see, the circular economy is existing. We also are very involved in digital product passport, so we are also looking how to do this. And since the data is very important in digital product passport, we are looking how the data could be kept at the original, where they come from. So that's
okay. Thanks.
That's our contribution.
Yeah, all right.
But it's a vision, and it will evolve. It's for sure. It's what we imagine, but the customer will guide us.
Of course, yeah. It will always be demand-driven. Thank you. Maybe anticipating a bit on what also Lucilla said in her presentation. So the TEF and the EDIH, it's not only about the regional, let's say, uptake. It's also not about servicing those, let's say, innovators or early adopters in company or public sector. But Europe is also anticipating of a broadening of digital transformation. Now, I'm not going to do the tour de table, so it's about who wants to answer to this question. But how do you do that inside of your EDH or in your TEF? What's your approach in making sure that broadening uptake of digital technology? Martin.
Well, I think the excellent examples from our Estonian colleague should be followed. Nobody cares about projects. Nobody cares about, you know, the grand plan. They care about the next step in their work. So that's the starting point. We have created in Denmark an association, TEF DK, for everyone, not just the one who are getting funding initially and so on, but actually to make this real. It's chaired by the Confederation of Danish Industry. It has 17 members by now. That's not I don't know how many thousand you had after working a little bit, but it's the real people who are TEF service providers. So we build in a way in the exit plan from the beginning. So making it real. And I think it was I don't remember if it was number 100 or 101 industry association, which is this house of industries, right? Like aerospace and defense and so on. So it's real. So I think that keeping it real is the starting point. Then we will make some of the difficult parts, the implementation details, we will make them work if there's, a wish to go together. And I feel there is, like you say, Valentina, it's needed, but then the practical things need to be practical.
I might just add to that, I do totally believe that it really is important that we stay with the mission, leaving nobody behind, and I really like the ARO webinars. Well, actually, I shared them with our colleagues the other day. I was like, this is what we need to be doing. So we're definitely up for the EDIH collaboration piece. But we also need to remember like the global kind of picture, how we invest in innovation and things that are going on around us. And we do need to make sure that we are investing in those few that are excellent. And I think in this mix, we may get lost in the making sure everyone is with us and forget about those few. And, we just see if we look at Microsoft or some of those big platforms, what's going on, and our own strategic autonomy, we need to do a little bit more influencing, I think, not just the member states, not just the public funds, but I mean the private funds too. Just making sure everybody knows that this is serious and it's not just about keeping everybody together.
Right. Maybe to jump to another, looking at the time, another question that I wanted to ask is also the international outreach. We know that specifically in the EIH program, it is really the purpose to also attract SMEs, other companies from outside of the region to actually benefit services that are offered. Ludwig, is that something that you are already achieving? Do you see a trend there? What do you specifically do that is successful on that?
Yeah, there's always the delicate balance. We're 50% funded by the regions, so they don't want us to spend all that money to companies outside the region. But of course, we have an obligation, and there we have the strategy. There are companies having innovation challenges which are the same when they're investing technology, whether they're in Portugal, in Greece, or in Belgium, or in Brussels. Well, Brussels is Belgium, but okay. So we are looking at, and we did a first matchmaking a couple of weeks ago, where we look at what are those common needs between those companies. Can we set up European research projects together so that those companies can de-risk their own strategy or their research, and they can both benefit from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks. Valentina, you also strongly believe in that networking and the network organizations play a very important role. And what do you think is one of those network organizations that will help you out with the TEF to reach outside, let's say, the consortium partners within AI Matters, for example? Your microphone. Yeah.
I think the sectorial organizations are very important. It's the way to reach these sectors, which are members, the companies which are members of these sectors. I also believe this European Commission invests in Europe Enterprise Network, and it should be also our primer organization for sharing our TEF catalog, also to inviting us in different countries to speak the local language to the companies and to make a dissemination larger as more as possible.
Mm-hmm. And
so and I have to mention, because there is trilateral cooperation, but now it's even quadrilateral cooperation, because it's Germany, Italy, France and the Netherlands in manufacturing, and there is the initiatives Manufacturing Geek, so also which is issued from this cooperation. It's from Alliance Industrie du Futur, Industrie 4.0 from Germany, is from Coffee Industria. So it's also a very well known that all members of this industrial alliance, they can also profit from our TEFs.
All right, good. I'm looking a bit at the time. We still have 5 minutes left, so I want to give the opportunity to the audience maybe to ask a question. Don't worry, I have some other questions if nobody wants to ask a question, but maybe somebody from the audience that wants to raise a question to some of the panelists.
Super shy, super shy.
We have Maurits. He's not so shy.
Of course.
It's like an exam.
It's probably now working, but it always takes a bit of time. No? It doesn't work, the microphone. Can
Up
we...
will relay.
No.
Speak up.
Just speak up.
The question.
We will hear you. No.
You want my microphone?
No.
There's a working microphone here.
There you go. That will work. There you go.
So my question is just, how do you ensure structural collaborations in Europe between regions? What kind of activities do you do to create that?
You mean in Belgium or all of Europe?
No, all of Europe.
Okay.
Of course. And it can be between two regions, that's fine.
I can take first stab at
Yeah,
this.
please, Rafael.
So this was part of actually my answer before, so I'm going to say it. So, clearly food security, I speak for the agri-food TEF and the agri-food sector. Food security is not a matter only on the 9 countries that are part of the TEF, clearly. So we have clear obligations as well as set KPIs to ensure that we have cross-border applications and deliveries of services that go cross-border. The project perspective, we are therefore forced and encouraged to make sure that the services that we deliver are not only available within those 9 countries that are part of the consortium at the moment. To add to that, we also envisage the setup of an advisory board, which will bring in representatives from EDIH across Europe. And actually, this is a public announcement here for partners that are interested in making sure that there are countries also represented within the adopters of the AgriTEF. So this is one of the mechanisms that we ensure will lead us to collaborate also in other countries across Europe.
Lisa,
Yeah.
you do your thing in Ireland. I can imagine that's a bit more difficult.
Yeah, so in Ireland, obviously, that structured collaboration, we're kind of a little bit in the middle between Europe and what's going on in the States. That's how we roll. But what we would have liked in our RTO in Ireland as an EDI for manufacturing in Ireland is a structured collaboration with the manufacturing TEF, for example. And because we knew we needed some kind of formal cooperation to keep that really, keep us engaged, because you can get down into your silo and really focus on the member state and what they want you to do. We've also experienced the issues as well that you've mentioned about what do you mean you have to serve a Romanian manufacturing SME? We figured out a way, and I can share that with you. But we know we need to cooperate with the EEN, and they usually are our kind of people we go to help us with the company-to-company collaborations and things like that. But they need a little bit more. They need a little bit more structure, and they need, especially when it comes to beyond that basic kind of business connection, when we're getting in talking about, collaborations around technology and things like that, and IP.
And you mean that the EDIH can provide that structure to the EENs, right?
No, I don't think. No, I think we needed an intermediary. We need
Okay.
We need some more structure around, augmenting what the EEN do.
Okay.
to help definitely with EDIH, TEF alignment. I can see a lot of our clients wanting to avail of the TEF services, for example, and we just haven't figured that out yet. But we're early days, we're only a year in, so a little bit
That's
more
right.
time. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, our time is running out. I heard a lot of, talking about also sustainability aspects that everybody's already slipped in. We didn't dive into that, but that's good to hear also from the other EDIH and TEFs here around the table, so not only from Sustain. It's mainly a people thing. I heard about, having good people in the team, selling those services will definitely also make a difference. There's a lot of interoperability, standardization things also going on to make sure that also, let's say, across Europe and across regions, let's say the broadening of the uptake of digital transformation will help out. But mainly, I'm very happy to hear that from all of you that we're ready and open for business, and that the success is there in the making, just with, let's say, working together also across the different EDIH and TEF. So with that positive note, I would really like to thank the panelists, the speakers of today, and also you, the audience, to make this happen. Thank you.